I was a young man like any other when I entered in high school. I used to have the same friends since I was in high school, and to tell the truth, I was the happiest with them, but everything changed that day. The day that I entered in high school. When you study high school, they always tell you that the high school will be more difficult academically, but no one told that it will be more difficult in other aspects. I remember my best stage was when I was in high school. Actually, life was very beautiful, and I used to have to worry about doing some work and playing video games. Those beautiful afternoons now seem just like all dusty pictures that hang in my mind. My day began around 6 in the morning. The transport always passed me, but at the same time, the truth is that I have never been punctual, and I remember that I was made it wait, which does not make me feel proud by the way. Once I arrived at the school, everything was familiar to me. If the school was not very big in any way, then the teachers, classroom, and classmates I had seemed like old acquaintances. Remembering those moments, I realized how ruthless time can be, and I get lump in my throat. Every day was a good day, since the environment inside the school was just perfect, the teachers were good, and all of my classmates were friends. But there were some who were my best friends, and whenever we saw each other, we talked about everything and what happened to us the day before. The feeling of going to school was similar to being at home. Unfortunately for me, everything that has a beginning has an end, and was not the exception. Since they began to give us talk about different high schools, the atmosphere inside the room began to feel different each time. It was like if we all knew what was about to happen, and we will compare it with the emotion that animal will feel that knows that is about to be hunted. I will definitely say that at this point my life was about to change forever. But I don't really didn't know how much. After so many good moments, the day have finally arrived, my first day of high school. I have to say that I was excited since I thought it would be a great experience. I never imagined that after that day, my life wouldn't be the same again. Same never again. The first day, I was a real change. Since everything was new, I didn't know the school, and I didn't have any mean expectations about what could happen. But without a doubt, it was at this point that my life completely turned around. It is also true that if it were to come for me, I would have stayed in high school all my life. But fortunately, I didn't have that option. I had no choice but to go to high school. So after a long time at the university, I understood that this was my call of adventure, my call to the unknown, which will make me become what I will be later. Everything was actually very new to me since in the new school I felt like home. In high school I just feel like I wasn't home. The teachers were no longer familiar face, and not only that, but it seems that they were paid to be very strict with us. It seems that one of their obligation was to make high school a negative experience that we will never forget. Fortunately, I was not entirely alone to face this challenge since my classroom there was a classmate who had studied in the same high school as me. During the stage, we were never good friends, but when we entered high school, that was about to change. Her name is Allison, and during all these years, she was the source of motivation since as the days passed in high school. I realized that my personality was changing notable. I was no longer the smiling young man that everyone knew for me. No, I was more of a serious and reserved young man, and with that truth, I could no longer make great friends, like ones that I had in high school. It was if I knew a lot of being able to relate people, and I must also say that people I meet on high school, they weren't the brightest. Most of them look stiff. I became more introverted, and my classmates were more rude. Well, this is not a good combination. And I would also like to say that in high school the atmosphere becomes more tense because you start to worry about things that when you study in high school you simply don't even think. They even cross my mind, like looking good to please the most beautiful girl in the room or bringing a good phone like all my classmates. Likewise, if I before in my room I had 20 people, now it was 50, through exaggerating. I remember perfectly my first big challenge that I had in physical education class, where there was a test in which person who last the longest running will receive an extra in the qualification. But to be honest, that was the least it mattered. All men knew that this was the perfect opportunity to show the girls who among us the most athletic man. So I gave my best effort and I came in the third place. I think I remember that day I came of anonymous in my living room, but not everything was rosy. Since I came of anonymous to my classmate, my name also began to sound outside the room. Particularly, there was a boy in my room who had the same name as me, which from the beginning somewhat was uncomfortable for both. But since the girl he liked to me, but in really I never paid attention to him. On a certain extent, to avoid a problem with him, I did well. Since that I had a few weeks after standing class, he got into a fight with another guy over the same girl. So that guy could have been me, thinking about it. But without hesitation for a single second, I think that the biggest challenge that I faced in high school was losing practically all my friends. I consider friends who those who studied with me in high school were with me in the same school, and in the first I thought that we could get along, being like those friendships that appear in Hollywood movies, but in reality we were the opposite side. My friends became people who personally no longer I want to be them, since they didn't know enter my classes, they didn't not hand in homework, or they were simply no longer people that I had known in high school. I cannot say to date made them change too much, but nothing was the same with them anymore. It was a change so drastic. It was also at this point that I understood that I was different from the others. It was at this point that looking at my life had been up, now was simply a memory. Each day that I passed became more strange. I became more introvert, but also more intelligent in the way I see it. Actually, it's like I was paying the price of being someone different. All my friends shared the same likes, the same values, the same hobbies, and that's why I didn't fit in. But I feel I'm very glad I didn't, because if I had, I wouldn't be telling that you this motivating story where the ugly duckling will be into a great swam. To tell the truth, not everything was bad. Since I made a series of girls who like Allison were my best friends during all the time. Their names were Luisa and Paula. Thereby, the way they called me. The future of Mexico, and I don't know why, to tell the truth, but it's one of the greatest mysteries in my life, and I started thinking about it. When I will someone call me the future of Mexico, and that so many things could change since that young boy who played video games and I only cared about hang out with my friends. This is how the years went by. Where a pandemic rose, which made the rest of my high school go online, and I also that if I hardly take to my old friends anymore. No, we're definitely nothing anymore. Then the day came of my graduation, which if I remember I have never been punctual, and yes, I was late, which caused me a huge scolding from my father. That time, when it was in my graduation, I still hadn't thought about university and I wanted to study, so actually I already had the time on me. But I was sure that I had nothing to lose, since I no longer had friends in high school. I remember the day of my graduations. Before going to the diplomas, everyone was with their group of friends talking, but I was one of the few who seemed to not have friends, and unless in my case, it was real. At this point, where I thought I didn't care, I felt yes, and I really wanted to cry. I don't remember if I shed tears, but I know I wanted to. In my life, there seemed to be nothing of value, nothing that will make happy, nothing that will me feel better at home. That feeling was forgotten, along with my high school friends, but immediately, if as I were a divine help, I remember that things always happen for something, and something definitely I will discover when I enter to the university. So I got down to work and ensured myself a bright future. It was there when I knew that I still had many things to learn, and I could not feel science as deep down. I knew that he was a great person, worldly as everyone, of a pleasant friendship. I spent about a month thinking about the university. When I finally met with my mind, I had faced one of the biggest challenges in my entire life, one essay and in which I will make myself known, and I only had a one chance to achieve it. I remember that my mother was the person who helped me to do it, since my father was not there. I forgot to mention that my father is a military man. When I finished my essay, my mother made me correctly completely. They gave us around 3 morning Now that I'm studying university, I can understand that all those apparently negative things that happened to me were just simple parts of my growth process. And although I have not felt the same feeling as when I was in high school, now I feel my life is on the right track and I feel all those challenges have paid off because although I don't have many friends, the ones that I have are everything for me. One of the main lessons in all this path precisely that valuing people. Not a long ago I met an incredible girl who since he came into my life accommodated all the things that have been messy for long, and today more than ever I believe everything I learn is something that I can share with her and all with my friends from university. And although I am still struggling day to day because with the traffic of the city, with a completely known environment to the university, but I know that I could when I was completely alone. Now I have the several people by my side who mean a lot for me, who serve my advisors when I need help. I will not forget my first day at the university, since I described them like a hell. Change are always good, but at the first day involved a great sacrifice regarding that we are well, like should be. Also, I was not accused of getting up so early, so the task and all of that stuff. I face show them I can that if some point I face myself again metaphorically because many demons I could win. I must say that although the problems will never disappear, I believe that as we overcome certain challenge, we are discovering that we're made of, and we're discovering like little of we are in the future, since everything we have experienced is like we the seed of the tree that will be tomorrow. I'm personally going to the fight until my last breath to have life of my dreams. I have learned from the good and the bad, but I believe in life is the only road living we see as a journey, and if we see ourselves like a heroes. Now that I remember all these moments in the middle of high school, I understand that that they were necessary to become what I'm today, and in reality, I like what I'm today. I feel proud of what I have achieved, and I have to achieve. And as very previously mentioned, everyone who is in my extremely valuable, since they are the ones that make me feel like home. And I specifically remember when I was attending classes, I was so about what my life will be in college, and if it will be better or worse. That today I have the answer. I know that it's not better or worse, it's different, and that was actually make it better since change good. To finish, I would like to say that whenever you have the opportunity for an adventure, you have to take an advantage of it because you don't know all the good things that you can learn or all the people you can meet, but also those things that you can lose on people you can lose, because when you get to the end you will see that everything was in the order to become a hero. So if you want to become your best version, you could be please answer the phone and hear your heart.